I'm going to throw it over to Jimmy and let him teach you how to play.
Krampusnachte, the naughty list. Hi everyone, long-time player, first-time teacher. And yes, thank you Jerry, thank you to the Gahanna Gaming Group for letting us show off our little game here. So, as Jerry mentioned, tonight is Krampusnachte, and the inspiration for this game. So it's very appropriate that we're here getting to play this. So, I'm just going to kind of do my normal spiel that I do every time I do a demo, which is we are playing as St. Nicholas's darker helpers. Our job is to capture and punish the naughty children. Okay, St. Nicholas, his job is to reward the nice kids tomorrow. Tomorrow is St. Nicholas Day, December 6th, but tonight is our night. So we're gonna take care of all the kids who they were just too bad this year, and they need to be punished. All right, so how do we do that? Well, everyone has their own unique character. All right, so we're going to switch over to the
Close-up cam, boom,
yeah.
thank you.
All right, so everyone has their own unique character, and each character has their own unique stats, their own unique abilities, and their own unique capture capacity. There are 6 characters in the game. The game plays 2 to 6 players. And so I'll just go into kind of breaking down what you're looking at when you're looking at the character card here. So you've got the portrait, you've got their name, and these are their stats. These stats are the primary way that you're going to capture the kids. And we'll go into that deeper in just a second. They have a little bit of text on there, and that is their special ability. So their special, each one has their own ability, and they all kind of do unique things. So for instance, Krampus here, once per turn, he may sacrifice one captured child during the play cards phase to add +2 to any one capture type this turn. And so Krampus he's kind of a brutal character. The other ones, they all have their own unique strategies to go with it. And then he has a capture capacity of 5. You have little text here that I know it's a little difficult to see, but down here at the bottom of this portrait it says equipment. So each character has their own equipment cards, and those cards, there's 3 for every character. They are also unique. They're going to go on the bottom here. You see this little word here, it says sacrifice. This is going to be their sacrifice pile.
I'm going to zoom in so they can read that. The sacrifice. Yep, they can.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's the sacrifice side, and then
I'm going to show the bottom there too, and you said that was the
equipment.
Yep, perfect. And where else do you want to go?
And then we're going to go to just to the right here again. Behind
Perfect.
all the stats and stuff is a little burlap sack, and that's where they're going to be captured, is on that side. So they put the kids in the sack. All right, so I'll just go through some of the characters that we've got. Bob and Jerry already have their characters they're going to play with.
Sure. I'm going to show mine here to the side. So I've got Belfana, and here are her stats. And you want to throw Bob's up on the close-up.
Bob is playing as Frau Perkta. And
Bob, do you speak a little German, don't you?
No.
Oh, you don't?
I've heard well, so much for that.
But it was a linguistic movie, so
Oh, that's yeah.
that probably helped.
We've also got Belschnickel,
Bless you.
Peter Fatar. He's French. I have Googled how to pronounce his name, and I still can't say it. And then Gryla, and she is from Iceland. So what I'm actually going to do is, on the back of every character card is the quick reference. Is that visible there?
Yeah, I can zoom in too if there's a specific thing you want to be able to see easier than others.
No, it just the whole thing, I think we do.
I'll pull in so they can see the
Okay.
draw phase.
Yeah. All right. So it goes through all the phases of the game and then gives some of the other rules. And I think that's probably a good place to just tell you how the game is going to go. So at the beginning of your turn, you are always going to draw an action card. That's the draw phase. No matter what, you're going to draw an action card. Then you're going to go into the play cards phase. You're going to play as many cards as you want, and or as few, and there is no hand limit. So play as many, hold on to as many, doesn't matter. It's up to you. Then you go into the capture phase, and that is where we're going to use our stats. So I'm going to take this off real quick, and we're going to focus in on the stats. Right. Yep. Okay. So we have naughty kids, and they are represented by this little reddish brown border.
Before we do anything, let's zoom in on their on their flavor. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
What'd he do?
Now, every naughty kid is going to have a reason why they're on the naughty list. So, for instance, Mervyn here, he cooked the family dog for Christmas dinner.
That's horrific.
So
This is a good time to say, play the game. Understand the theme. It's a little tongue in cheek. Don't take it too seriously. It's just a game, guys.
And just remember, these kids, don't feel bad about capturing them. Okay, they deserve what they're about to get. Yeah. So Guntram here, he sold his siblings into slavery for a pistol and a pack of cigarettes. All right, they're little devils.
All right, and then so every kid has a little bit of flavor text like that. So
Yes. And it is flavor texted.
has nothing to do with it's not mechanically important. It's
Right.
just for fun.
Yeah.
Just silliness.
Okay. So you see here, every kid has a stat associated with them. So the four stats are terror, ferocity, magic, and bribe. And when we are looking at the naughty kids, they are going to have a symbol indicating which stat they're associated with. So Guntram here, he's a bribe kid, and Mervyn is a terror kid. What you're trying to do is you're going to look at the symbol, and then you're going to match or exceed that number based on what your character's got. So Gryla, for instance, she has 5 terror. So she matches Mervyn's terror. That means when it's her capture phase, she can just take him, and she'll just put him onto the right side of her, face up, indicating that she has captured Mervyn. But Guntram, he's 6 bribe, and Gryla, she's not very tricky. She's mostly just a blunt force. So she only has 2 bribe. She cannot capture Guntram unless she uses an action card or an ability or one of her equipment to boost those stats. So, there we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Just make it.
Yep.
I don't want anyone getting seasick.
And, okay, so that's how you capture them. The more they cost, the higher the value they are. The points they are worth at the end of the game is on the upper right corner,
Mm-hmm.
and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. All right, now, those are the naughty kids. There are also nice kids, and they're indicated with the green border here. You'll notice they do not have a stat associated with them. You cannot capture them. You can end up with them in your sack because of usually an action card played by one of your opponents. That's because they are worth -4 points. Your opponents want you to have nice kids because they're going to be a detriment to you. So at the end of the game, Sisto here, he is worth -4 points. When we get to that third phase, the capture phase, it is also the sacrifice phase. Okay? So, on your turn, you can capture one kid, and you can also sacrifice one kid. So, I'm going to scooch this over here a little bit. And let's say Sisto does end up in your capture sack, okay, because someone put him there. You're like, well, I definitely don't want this because I know it's going to be negative points at the end of the game. So, you can just sacrifice him. Turn him face over. He goes on the other side like this, face down. Every card at the end of the game that's face down in your sacrifice pile is worth 1 point, regardless of what they were before. The only time that that is not true is when St. Nicholas is supervising you. I'm going to take Brad off here. When St. Nicholas is supervising you, he's still the boss, and he likes nice kids, so he doesn't want you to get rid of them. So on the back of his little card, it tells you all of his things. So first of all, you want to
Zoom in.
yeah, just a little. All right. So, when St. Nicholas is supervising you, he has pros and cons. He does add +2 to your bribe stat, but he prevents you from sacrificing any and all kids. So it doesn't matter if they're good or bad, you can't sacrifice them if he's supervising you. And at the end of the game, if he's still supervising you when the game is over, then all of your sacrificed kids count for nothing. So they go to 0 instead of 1 each. The other benefit, though, of having him is there are action cards, and I'll show those in a second. They will say something like, if St. Nicholas is supervising you, you get to do a thing. So he has his pros and his cons. Some other things to take note. We'll just go back to the quick reference here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, some other things to note. We all are going to have our unique equipment cards. And to start the game, we're all going to pick one, all right? We're going to put it down under our character, like I showed you before. But then, if you want to have more, because we each have 3 to choose from, there we go. We each have 3 to choose from. We can have all 3 equipped at a time. The way to get them,
Here are mine. I'll just throw mine out there.
those are your action cards.
That's
These are
what I
your
meant.
equipment cards.
Here are
The
mine.
equipment cards are indicated by the character's portrait in the lower right corner.
Oh, yes.
And then on the back, it says equipment.
Of course it does.
So your equipment cards, the way you get more of them, there is an action card that allows you to do it, but primarily you are going to be skipping your play cards phase and your capture phase. So you're always going to start your turn by drawing an action card, but then if you want more equipment, you simply say, I'm going to do my equipment, I'm going to skip my play cards and my capture phase. And then you just set it down, and that's your turn. That's equipment cards. We're going to switch to the center, I think, now. All right, and I'm going to let you all have a quick reference, just in case.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so this area here with all the kids, that is called the town. And the game ends one of 2 ways. Every time a kid gets captured or discarded, you immediately replace it with another kid from the deck. When the children deck runs out and you were to go to replace it in the town, that's game over, if there's no more to draw from here. The other way the game ends is when the town is completely full of nice kids. So when all 6 nice kids are out there, game over. So that's why we give a variable time limit. It can play pretty quickly sometimes. And the final, oh yeah, I guess I should show some action cards real quick. I'll do it on the small camera. So action cards, they do various things like they
Oh, you can do that. Okay.
boost your stats. And here's an example of if St. Nicholas is supervising you, you get to do a thing. And there's some other ones. And sometimes they do like discard 1 child from your capture stack, stuff like that. This has plenty of take that elements, so there's going to be a lot of interactivity between the players. You're always going to be kind of going after each other. And that about sums it up. Do we have any questions? I have one more thing I want to note, but before we do that, do we have any questions before we get going?
No, we'll just work through it as we go.